Today we are going to be making a skinning knife similar to this one that we made in the past. Here are our patterns, but we're going to do it with tools you can find in your garage, because as we just moved, we're working on some electrical so we can use the big tools. To start out, draw your knife on the steel, and then we're going to want to cut it out with an angle grinder. And you're going to want to get as close as you can to those lines. It just makes things a lot easier as you're filing later on. Okay, we got it cut out. It's not perfect, but we got pretty close to the lines. I believe now we're going to take a flap disc, this guy over here, and we're just going to come through and slowly, essentially it's sanding it, and we're just going to get right up to our line, make things easier so we don't have to do as much file work. Okay, we got our edge all finished up how we want it. Ready to go, nice and smooth. Our profile is good. If you look, we're just slightly bigger than the template. So just there's a couple spots, but other than that, it's about how we want it. So we're gonna go with that. I like the shape, I like the way it feels. And we're going to put our scribe lines in. So take a Sharpie. Most people have one of these laying around. Okay. Then we're also going to draw our lines in here like this. That looks about the same as the template. Now I have a drill bit here that's about the same thickness as the steel. So we're going to place it on a flat surface here and get ourselves a scribe line. Flip it over and do the same. And look at that. We have one line right down the middle. Now we just file to our scribe lines, little by little. Once the filing's done, you're going to start sanding and just increasing your grits to clean it up and pull out those scratches. So here we are. We're going to draw our outlines on the wood, and then we can start cutting it out. So okay, we got our knife here in the clamp, the vise, that's a better word for it, that's what it is. We got our holes marked, and we are going to drill through with 1/8 inch drill bit. That's what our pins are going to be. So here we go. Okay. We have the holes drilled through the steel. So now we're going to line up our G10 liners and our wood. So without having a drill press, it becomes a little difficult occasionally to get your holes and everything lined up perfectly and square. So I have found, and I like to use, painter's tape, and we're just gonna show you real quick here. Take our painter's tape and I just push it on there, and then I just take my file on the edge and I just go quickly around the edge so that I know where everything's at. It makes my glue up quicker and easier as we cut it out to the exact size. Then you just take a little bit of super glue, and you don't need a lot, just a couple drops. To hold it. And we've already prepped our liner. And then now, because we've taken the glue off to a certain point, we can see where it's all needs to be. And then, I've already prepped this as well. We're going to do the same thing with the wood. So that way we're going to put our hole through both of them at the same time. And I kind of have where I want it lined up. There's a lot of tape and glue, but as you're drilling, it helps so it doesn't blow out on the other side. We have the knife all clamped up and it's still glued, so we're going to take advantage of that. We put the drill bit through to also help keep it secure. And we're going to take the flap disc on our angle grinder and get the wood down to shape so we're right there in line with our blade. So now we have the curve there on the top, and we'll do some more sanding and filing to get it to its final shape. But it's starting to take place. Take shape, not place. Starting to take shape. So we took the angle grinder, we rounded off the edges a little bit, started sanding it, and then this spot right there, right here, can't get the angle grinder very well, and usually I use a Dremel for that, but since I'm trying to use simple tools today, I just take something that fits in your drill, and then I tape some sandpaper to it, and we almost create it like our own little sanding wheel. So we'll attach it to our drill, and then we'll start not drilling, but we'll use the drill to sand that pretty quick, less file work essentially. So that's what we did. We've drawn a few lines on here. So at first we were going to go right there, but I think that's a little too far. I don't know. We're going to take them off and heat treat the blade, and then while it's tempering, we'll get in here and cut that how it's supposed to be. So okay, I don't have the best lighting in here, but we have a thing of canola oil, we have a few bricks, they are fire bricks, and then we have our heat source. So we're going to use this to heat it up, and then we're going to let it sit, normalize it, and we'll go. Sorry about the light. It takes a while to get it up to temperature with a little torch like this. But once you do, the color helps out, but also it becomes non-magnetic. Then you quench it. And here we're just quenching it in canola oil because that's what we have at the house. So you can see where it heat treated to right there. So the handle's not hard. Well, let's test it. We got our file here. Oh yeah. While we wait, we need to trim this down a little bit. So I put a mark here on the back. And we're just going to cut it straight across, and then we can start filing it. So they're pretty close, so now we start filing that. Well, we'll put some drill bits there to hold them together, and then we'll file it down so that they're even and kind of round it off a little bit. Okay. So we got the one ground down, and now we just also your file catches a lot of wood, so go over something, clean it out, makes it go a lot easier. For a minute I was like, what is going on? But now we just take our file and we file it down. We could probably use the angle grinder if you want to hold it right, but we're just going to file it down. While we were waiting for the temper to happen, so you get that nice gold bronzy color on there, I got a little carried away and ended up sanding it all the way down. And we went to whatever this is here, 320. So we went to 320, and then we put a little stain there on it to kind of seal it, keep it nice. So we'll put another layer after we've glued it on, but the handle is pretty much ready to go. Now we just get to sand this guy. Once it's sanded, then we'll glue it up. So we're going to start out with 220. So we got it all sanded. It's at 1,000 grit. We're going to put our mark on here. All we're using are some alligator clips, 9-volt batteries, and some salt water. So I have a video all about etching your steel, but we're just gonna do this real quick. You can use electric tape. I've used that before and cut out the pattern that I wanted. So here we go. Okay, we got our handles here. We got our pins, super tiny. That way we can do a lot less work. Just cut them with the angle grinder or epoxy, and we're going to glue it together. Okay, pulled the clamps off. Hasn't been too long, about an hour. So now it's starting to harden up. It's still pretty sticky. So now we're going to take some acetone and try to clean it off before it sets too hard. So that way we can get rid of all that epoxy. Doesn't matter how many times I do this, I still struggle with it. So I thought we had a ball peen hammer. I do not. So I just filed it down, then sanded it. So now it's nice and flush. Looking good. It's kind of hard to see, but we have that blue liner in there. We went to more of a mirror finish, but they're pretty close to one. Got it sharpened. Camera died, then we just put it on the strop. Now it's nice and sharp and ready to be delivered. But you can make these knives with very simple tools if you really want to. I learned a lot from doing so, but I do enjoy the tools. They make things a lot quicker.